Okay, so today is Thursday, May 17th. Okay, so thank you all for agreeing to participate in this study. Before we begin, I'd like to emphasize a few things. First of all, to protect your privacy and the others participating in this research study, please do not identify yourself or any study participants by name. Second, for the purposes of this study, learning analytics data is defined as data about learners and or learning environments that are studied and leveraged to improve learning or learning environments. This does not include confidential data. UNC takes data confidentiality and data protection very seriously, and many members of our university community work very hard to ensure student data is protected and in compliance with applicable state and federal laws. The study is looking at data streams that fall into a gray area and may or may not be protected by federal or state law, and these data may be used for a variety of reasons such as quality control, marketing, or research purposes. The goal of the study is to understand what members of the UNC community know about learning analytics data, how it is used in the classroom for assessment or other purposes, and desires of the community as far as professional development opportunities for faculty and potential future university policy. Are there any questions before we begin? No? Okay, so first of all, we're going to go around this way. So please briefly identify your main role at UNC. So are you an undergraduate or graduate student, faculty member, staff, administrator? If you perform multiple duties, please identify yourself based on greatest % effort. Please do not say your name or potentially identifying information. For example, if you were the dean of NHS, please don't say, I am the dean of NHS.
I'm just an undergraduate student. I'm just completed my first year faculty member. And you did say to kind of give our rules a little bit.
Are you mainly teaching, research, both teaching and research?
60% teaching, 20% research, and 20% service.
Okay.
I'm a graduate student.
Undergrad.
Okay. All right, so first question. What do you currently know about big data in society? So, for example, what may have you heard about in the news about big data? Anybody can chime in, or we can go around the table. It doesn't matter.
I guess the only way I've really heard of it, I guess when I hear big data, I do think on a very large scale, and kind of data mining as a keyword that's associated with it, that's been used for maybe like a lot of social media platforms or other kind of online tools that can kind of scrape a lot of data in large quantities. But I don't know the types of analyses. I assume it uses lots of fancy math and computer models to find patterns in the data and then make predictions about whatever the outcomes are.
Yeah. Basically that pretty much anything you do on the internet will be harvested and viewed by companies.
Same thing?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So what are some examples of data sharing you already engage in? So for example, this could include apps on your phone like Google Maps or Runkeeper, or participating in some kind of frequent shopper or loyalty program like King Soopers Rewards, or shopping online using Amazon or social media such as Facebook.
Well, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Strava, eBay.
I mean, it's like when you look something up on like a website and then it pops up on like your recommended, like on Facebook. It's like, you should buy this. You looked at that. So just stuff like that where it's like obvious that like Facebook and other companies like have agreements where you're looking at it on one site and they share it with that to like advertise to you.
Yeah, that's how Instagram is. Definitely.
And they're like listening to you too. Like you'll talk about something and it'll like pop up in your advertisements. You're like, what?
Do you want to know specific examples of like, do you want us to say what we use?
Yeah, just some examples of what you use or what you use the most or...
Gosh. The sad part is I'm sure there's more that I can't even, that I'm not even aware of.
I don't even like know if I do anything intentionally.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely, almost everything that you listed, I participate in some way, maybe not on a daily basis, but
I mean, I share my location on like my Instagram posts. Like I don't know if that's a thing. I try to keep it off my Facebook, but it's on my Instagram.
Yeah, I don't have location services on for all the apps. Like, for instance, if I look at Fandango or something, I'd just rather type in my zip code than it kind of knowing my location all the time. But Google Maps, I mean, absolutely. I use that on a daily basis.
Yeah. So real.
And same thing with checking my Gmail every day, and that certainly has ads and things that, same with Amazon.
So you'd all say that's kind of part of your day-to-day lives?
Yep.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, something I just kind of, I don't even if I wanted it to be restricted, I don't feel like I have the ability to do that.
Yeah, I agree with
Like
that.
it's been forced upon me and I don't have a choice.
Okay. So let's switch gears. So what do you know about big data in education? So namely learning analytics data. So for example, what do you know about using learning analytics for assessment, or how learning analytics can generate information about what students know about material, about their practices, about how many hours they spend logged into Canvas. So in that same vein, what are some learning technologies that you use in the classroom, either as a faculty or as a student, that generate data about students or students' learning? How do you use them? Do you use them as an assessment or for some other purpose?
I don't really know. I know, like, me personally as an undergrad, like, I'm not, like, really involved in any of that. Like, I don't really know about it at all, and I don't think I've ever been a part of anything like that, but I'm sure it happens, and I just don't know about it. So, I don't know. I guess I'm kind of, like, in between on that, of knowing and not knowing about it. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't really know anything about that. And I use Canvas to like post grades, so.
Yeah. Don't know anything about it.
Yeah, I would say that I've, I would love to learn more about it because I'm sure there's many ways that I could be incorporating it into my teaching and learn things, but the only big measures, like I haven't used the clickers yet even to gather data because I've heard that they can kind of be a nightmare. So I've avoided that, especially for the first year while I'm generating all my content and stuff. But the Canvas, even using some of the things on Canvas, they've not been super helpful. For instance, the amount of time that someone's logged in. If they just leave the browser open on their computer, then it looks like they've been on there for days. And so I've never felt like that was a valid measure of participation from students, or any way to, some of my students who were on there the least amount of time were some of my, quote unquote better students even.
Yeah, because they're just logging on to like check their grades.
Yeah.
It's not like they're looking at things in particular.
Yeah, so I just haven't really found Canvas to have tools that have seemed super helpful.
All right. Okay, so what do you know about analytics that are captured by educational technology? So if you're a student, have you ever looked at metrics about your learning, such as the time you've logged into Canvas, or analyses produced by SSC, which is the Student Success Collaborative? It's an advising software on campus that your advisor may or may not have shown you. So it's a software used for advising and making predictions about students at risk for dropping out of their major. So how do these things impact your learning? If you're faculty, do you look at metrics about your students? Do they inform your pedagogy at all? Do you use them for assessment? Why or why not? And if the university provided professional development about best pedagogical practices for using learning analytics data, would you participate? Why or why not? So again, feel free to respond to any of those questions. It's just
There's a lot to like mull over, yeah.
It's designed to just stimulate your thinking.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I want to make sure I don't forget the last part of it, so I would say absolutely I would attend.
So you would want to see some kind of PD?
Yeah, absolutely. Because I do think that it's an area that is only going to become maybe more popular and better understood. And so I would love to learn more about it.
I just don't know how useful the current technology is for that, because especially with Canvas, it's really like, it depends on what the teacher posts to Canvas, and if it's stuff that you can use and look at, or if it's really just something that's used as like a grade tool. I know I've had classes where it's like teachers have really posted a lot on Canvas and made it really useful, so I've obviously downloaded more slideshows and done those things, but I don't know if that's necessarily representative of how you're learning and how you're studying, and it really would depend like a lot on the class. So I think if the software became more useful for that, I'm not really sure how, but I think it would be more important to really think about what kind of software we can use to really analyze how students are learning. that makes sense.
So you're saying what's available now isn't really that useful, but you could see there being applications that are useful in the future.
Absolutely.